So here we are back in the kitchens at Edible Canada here on Granville Island in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and going to be putting the dish together for all the ingredients that we picked up in the market yesterday. And so we've picked up some great local sweet corn just at the peak of the end of the harvest here. First off, we're going to just take the corn off of the husks and using a nice sharp knife, just feel your way across the cob, making sure you don't take off too much of the cob and just getting the little niblets off of it. If you get too much of the cob, you end up with a real starchy corn piece. So we're gonna get our pan going here, just over a little medium-high heat. I'm gonna pop in some butter, get that melting. And in with that, we're gonna pop our corn. We're gonna put in a little bit of shallot. Get this cooking going nice and warm. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. We're going to put in a little bit of whipping cream. We're going to bring this up to a nice hefty simmer, low boil. We've got some nice smoked chipotle chilies. The more chili you add, the more heat you're going to get. I'm going to let this do its thing. This is now going to cook for about 5 minutes. We're going to let the corn just soften up. You don't want to overcook it. Once you've got to that 5-minute point, you're going to take it off the heat and put it through a food processor and puree it into a creamed corn style. So we're going to leave this now and just let it do its thing over a medium heat. So for the next component of the dish, we're going to make a little bit of a chorizo sausage saute and some oil. So one, we want 2 components to this. We want some crispy chorizo sausage, but we also want the oil that's going to come off the chorizo that's going to give it some great flavor and a great presentation to the dish. So we're going to take some Spanish chorizo. This comes from Oyama sausage right here in Granville Island. Not worrying too much about the skin because that skin's going to crisp up and actually give us that really nice crispy sausage. Medium-high heat. We're going to take our sausage and fire it right in there. And normally if you were just using it as a pasta dish or whatever, you wouldn't add any more oil to this. The sausage itself will actually kick out a fair bit of oil, but because we want an oil component to this to use for part of our plating, we're actually going to add a little bit of olive oil to this. And we want this chorizo sausage to actually flavor this oil. And you can see how the oil's already turning that nice orange color. It's extracting all of those spices and flavors from the sausage. So once we get it to the point where the sausage is starting to crisp up, what we'll do is we'll actually take this off the heat, put it to the side, let it rest, and literally just sit there and infuse those flavors into that oil so that when we do go to final plating, we've got a nice warm oil, some nice crispy sausage, and we're ready to go. So now that we've got our corn puree done, our chorizo sausage done, we're going to move on to the actual scallop component of the dish because we're going to teach you how to cook a scallop the perfect way so you'll never overcook a scallop again. We've got 4 scallops from Qualicum Beach. They're politely hidden below some paper towel, and the reason we do this is because we actually want to dry out our scallops as much as possible. So these have actually been on paper towel for about 6 hours now. You want to try and suck out every ounce of moisture you can out of your scallop. When you do this, you actually end up with scallops that will cook way better. The other thing you want to look for with your scallops is this muscle on the end. This is actually where the scallop attaches to the shell, and this is what is really rubbery and chewy. So you actually want to take off just that little bit of the scallop. We're going to just really quickly season these. A little bit of sea salt. This comes from Qualicum Beach again on Vancouver Island. Guy actually goes out into the ocean and harvests it by hand. And then a little bit of pepper. So we're just going to season them up. When you're looking at your scallops like this, the most important thing you want to look for is that they don't smell. They shouldn't have a fishy odor to them. They should just be nice and fresh, nice and plump. Got a pan over here going on a nice medium-high heat. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. You can see how hot this pan is. We're actually going to remove it from the heat and add our scallops in here. Secret with scallops is don't overcrowd the pan. We're only going to cook them on one side. So we're going to put our scallops back on the heat here, and we're going to just turn down the heat a little bit, and you'll be able to see how quickly these will crust up. Make sure your pan's not too hot, but as long as your scallops are dry, you got a nice hot oil in there, you're going to get this great caramelization. Again, you can see getting that nice crust on it. The nice thing with scallops is they're absolutely fantastic raw. So all we want to do is literally heat the meat through. So now that we've got those nice crusts on there, we're going to just take this, take it off the heat, and let the heat of the pan finish cooking it. So that heat of that pan is going to come up through the scallops and just warm the meat, but without overcooking the scallops. So we're literally just going to leave those in a nice hot pan and let them do their thing. Same thing goes for salmon, other seafoods. You can really get a really nice cook on a piece of fish by only cooking it on one side and letting the heat of the pan transfer up through. And as long as you're choosing really fresh seafood, you're going to be thrilled with the results. Just going to move into our tomato salad now. Heirloom tomatoes are absolutely amazing. Unlike most hothouse or tomatoes that you see nowadays in the supermarkets, if you actually take the seeds from an heirloom tomato, it will actually germinate and regrow. Huge flavor. You've got all these amazing colors and styles and shapes and textures. This is a real simple salad. So all we're going to do is put in a little bit of chopped cilantro or coriander. Plays off the chili, very traditional sort of Mexican style flavors. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of chopped shallot, a little bit of olive oil, and a little bit of rice wine vinegar just to give it a little bit of acid. Then give it a quick stir. And then most importantly, a quick taste to make sure we got all our flavors right. The rice wine vinegar, shallots, salt and pepper, make sure everything's working, and you're good to go. And so we're back now with our creamed corn. And so we've obviously finished the cooking process and pureed it. You can see the nice consistency that it's come to, just bringing it back up to temperature. And again, same thing with the salad. You just want to grab a little taste, make sure everything's tasting right. Tastes pretty good. As long as you don't want to add some more chili into this or anything else, you'll be good to go. So our first component that's going to go into the dish will be the sweet corn puree. Take a scoop of this and run it down the center of our plate and create a nice little bed for our scallops to live on. Next, we're going to take some of our nice crispy chorizo and we're just going to pop this right in the middle of our corn. This is just creating a bed of where we're going to place our scallops. Next, we're going to take our scallops, and as you can see, we've got that nice caramelization on one side, nice and perfectly cooked through. So we're just going to take our scallops and place them on the top here. Now we're going to add our tomato salad. We're just going to take our salad down the side of the plate here. And we're going to go back to our chorizo oil and just drizzle it around the plate. So you get that nice color from the oil, a little bit of flavor, chopped cilantro over the top just to give it some color, and you're good to go. Again, this is the Qualicum based scallops with Oyama chorizo, heirloom tomato salad, and creamed sweet corn from the Fraser Valley. A true example of what market-inspired cooking is from Granville Island Public Market here in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and here in the kitchens of Edible Canada Bistro in the public market.
It's really nice.